Even if Prime Video's mega-hit superhero satire The Boys is nearing its final chapter with Season 5, its viability as a franchise clearly still has some legs. That may be seen as ironic, given that this entire saga began as a skewering of the cinematic universes spearheaded by DC and Marvel. Still, so far, Eric Kripke's sprawling universe has proven to be worthwhile. While the first technical spin-off came in the animated non-canon anthology The Boys Presents Diabolical, and the post-WW2 prequel Vought Rising is yet to air, the first real test of this franchise's spin-off potential came with Gen V, an unexpectedly brilliant, character-driven college tale set in the Boys universe. While the flagship series primarily focused on the everyday humans in a world overseen by corrupt superheroes, not counting Annie January and Kumiko Miyashiro, Gen V Season 1 successfully set itself apart from the Boys by shining a spotlight on the next generation of supes, particularly as they dealt with the cultural challenges of a world held tight in Homelander's grasp. Gen V Season 2 has three primary objectives: to pick up where Season 1's cliffhanger ending left off, to effortlessly lead into the final season of The Boys, and to find an organic way to continue the story following the tragic and unexpected passing of Season 1 star Chance Perdomo. Overall, Gen V Season 2 succeeds in all of those goals, even if this franchise's borderline obsession with including as much sex and gore as possible becomes more frivolous with each new entry.
What is Gen V Season 2 about? Picking up about 1 year after being framed for Kate Dunlap's massacre at Godolkin University, Marie Moreau, Emma Meyer, and Jordan Lee are given a second chance at the Soup University after spending most of their freshman year locked away in a Vought holding facility. While it may sound like freedom at first, Godolkin proves to be yet another prison for the trio of would-be heroes, especially when it comes to their ruthless and mysterious new dean, Cypher. With tensions at an all-time high thanks to Homelander's takeover of the U.S. government, the secrets that Marie and her friends discover this season may change the landscape of the Boys universe forever. One thing Gen V Season 1 did very well that Season 2 continues is how it ties into the original series, as the sophomore run once again feels like essential viewing for the upcoming fifth and final season of The Boys. The second season's central theme revolves around its characters exploring their powers, and the insights they gain seem poised to have a profoundly significant impact on the broader Boys universe. At the same time, there are occasional plot and logic inconsistencies, particularly with one character's powers, which seem to fluctuate in terms of their efficacy and how they work. Compared to both Gen V Season 1 and the previous seasons of The Boys, Gen V Season 2 dials back on a lot of the action quite a bit, instead focusing more on the schoolyard mysteries sprinkled throughout Godolkin University. While there's still enough blood and gore to keep action fans satiated, keeping Gen V focused on the character drama of its main trio is the wiser move, leaving more room for some great moments of banter and humor, particularly from Broadway, who feels like the hilarious heart of the whole show.
Gen V Season 2 effectively pays tribute to Chance Perdomo.
As alluded to earlier, one of the biggest challenges Gen V Season 2 faced was finding an appropriate way to move the series forward after the tragic passing of Chance Perdomo, whose character, Andre Anderson, was a crucial member of Season 1's ensemble. Thankfully, despite not physically being present, Perdomo's character is still of paramount importance in the narrative. From the Season 2 premiere to the finale, Andre's presence is felt throughout, with the show paying as touching a tribute to Perdomo as one would hope. Much of this is seen through Andre's father, Polarity, who feels like a much more fleshed-out character this time around. The Boys franchise lives or dies on the characters and their level of likability and unlikability, and Gen V's core ensemble is still easy to root for in Season 2, as they continue to explore their powers in profound and unique ways. Sinclair's Marie Moreau is still one of this franchise's most complex and unique protagonists, with her wants and needs making her one of the most dynamic and relatable heroes this saga has ever produced.
The same can also be said of Broadway's Emma Meyer, whose infectious charm, paired with genuinely deep social commentary, makes for a marvelous supporting character. However, the surprise superstar of Season 2 is technically a tie, as Thor and Lou are nothing short of brilliant as Jordan Lee. Not only do both actors once again bring a fascinating character to life, but they also explore Jordan as a character in a way most superhero stories only dream of.
Gen V Season 2's villains are more hit and miss.
Arguably, an even more vital element to get right in any boy's story is the villain, given Homelander is the most iconic TV antagonist in the last decade. The depraved sociopath for Gen V's sophomore year is none other than Hamish Linklater's Cypher, and the Midnight Mass star seems to be having a delightful time chewing up the scenery. If Homelander is essentially an evil version of Superman, Cypher could basically be called an evil Professor X, which is more than fitting for a show about college-age superheroes. If his name wasn't enough of a giveaway, Cypher's origin story is Gen V Season 2's biggest mystery. While his mind games with Marie and her companions are good fun to watch, the actual big twist doesn't necessarily come as a surprise and is fairly easy to predict, even if it's overall executed well. Sadly, the two characters who aren't given as dynamic an arc in Season 2 are, unfortunately, two of Season 1's most interesting antagonists. Kate Dunlap and Sam Riordan broke the hearts of fans in Season 1 when they went from well-meaning young people into soup-obsessed murderers, and that only intensified when The Boys Season 4 turned them into homicidal enforcers for Homelander. This is acknowledged at the start of Gen V Season 2, but it later feels like Kate and Sam's heinous crimes are quickly swept under the rug rather than the two characters being given a proper chance at redemption.
Gen V Season 2's shock value is wearing thin, but the show is still all too relevant.
Since the very first episode of The Boys Season 1, the franchise has prided itself on its audacious, mature content, with a massive emphasis on gore and sex. In the early days, this all felt like it was additive to the story, seeing these figures who are supposed to be pillars of society using their tremendous power to live out their most depraved fantasies. With Gen V Season 2 and the most recent seasons of The Boys, the question seems to be less about showing the depravity of this world and its propensity for violence, and more about which weird sex act can be squeezed in, or how much blood any random death should have. The shock value isn't offensive, but the constant bombardment of it is unnecessary, and perhaps most ironically of all, makes the most narratively shocking moments even less so. While Season 2's overly gross moments are starting to feel more and more juvenile, the things that Gen V is trying to say about our current world are anything but. Watching college students navigate a society overrun by fascist ideology and plagued by rampant political violence makes the fantastical world of The Boys feel eerily similar to our own. Couple that with well-written characters who are easy to care about and a sense of urgency for this wider universe, and Gen V Season 2 is an admirable new chapter as The Boys races towards its final bow. Gen V Season 2 premieres September 17 on Prime Video.